Thank you. So I want to actually give a bit of a call to action rather than a research report. And we've heard a bunch of times, be cautious. What does that feel like concretely? And I want to talk about how you can do this systematically using the scientific method. AI systems are not black boxes. We actually know what's inside. A whole bunch of linear algebra and such. Great. So the scientific method can be used. What's the scientific method? Anyone? Experiment, controlled experiments, exactly. So how do you conduct controlled experiments? Let me suggest for you that we should adopt an experimental posture to run controlled experiments on AI systems. So first of all, build statistical power by repeat prompting. Never ask the same prompt once. Ask a bunch of times. Reset your context window, try again. We just heard a comment a few minutes ago about, hey, these systems are learning. Well, that kind of makes a problem if I want to run experiments. But these are systems we control. So let's assert experimental control over the context. And furthermore, if you have these long, elaborate prompts, confounding variables, anyone? Short prompts. Keep your prompts short. And in fact, I'm going to show you insanely short elicits interesting behavior. And the last bit is don't look at one AI system. When I talk to people that are finding value in AI systems, they tend to fixate. Oh, I love Claude, or whatever. Have you ever seen how many large language models are available that are open weight, open source models? Hundreds. Avail yourself of them. And as a bonus, these short prompts actually elicit sort of hidden system knowledge. I'm not going to touch the epistemological side of that. So large language models are a kind of AI system. Doesn't mean that it's all of them. Not all AI systems are large language models. And production AI systems use large language models as sort of a central part, but not the whole thing. We're going to just look at the large language model itself. So what is a large language model anyway? We heard it's a multimodal logistic regression-y thing. Agreed? Next token predictor. Agreed? So what is it anyway, really? Well, it's an autocompleter. You type in a bunch of characters. They don't have to even be in a language you understand. And it tells you what the possible completions are. What word or symbol comes next? Here's Japanese, for instance. Great. And they're random autocompleters. This is why you want to build statistical power by repeat prompting. So here's a bunch of R code, statistician, mathematician here, and a whole bunch of completions of the prompt that is a single word. What? What does it mean to be is one possible response. What are the most common types? And so on. These are what Llama 3 thought were the first 5 things that jump to mind from the word what. Okay, sounds reasonable. But it's a chatbot, right? You know, I say, hey, chatbot, how are you? And it answers. How does it do that? Well, you start with a prompt and you play Mad Libs. You drop it into a longer prompt that looks a bit like a screenplay. You've got the user in there and you got the chatbot in there. There are the 2 players in the screenplay and it's auto-completing the screenplay. But there's other things in that prompt. This is why you need to control, like the system prompt. The system prompt tells the AI what it should be doing. Be helpful. Be a good citizen. Incidentally, if you say, actually, I'd rather you be sarcastic, drop that in the system prompt. You get predictable responses. Sarcasm mode activated. Right, math professors like sarcasm. So point of the matter here is what ends up getting dumped into the large language model is a longer thing. Remember, confounding variables. Let's not do that because one of the things that can happen is the prompt can actually kind of deconstruct itself. This is a little funny thing where actually, this is anyone do Duolingo? Somewhat of an addict here. And we're talking to Lily, which is an AI system, and it spits out user : assistant : in its response. Yeah, it's actually kind of producing its own input as its output. That's hard to control for. So in the end, don't do this. Chop out the system prompt if you can. There are systems that let you do this. So you can assert experimental control. And this actually is really kind of cool. Because it means that you can actually say, let me take the smallest, absolute smallest unit of text, dump it in as a single prompt, see what happens. So what we have here are 5 different responses, or possibly 6 if I can't count, no, 5, that are responses to the smallest possible unit of text understood by Llama 7 billion. So drop in an unknown token. That's the first guy there. And you get something here, 1.1K views. It seems coherent. In fact, actually, even more than that, it's plagiarized. I dumped that into Google and found that that particular phrase was pulled out of a textbook. In fact, it goes on for a bit more. These are coherent. So single token prompts or single word prompts actually reveal hidden knowledge. So let me sort of point out, though, that you should look at across multiple AI systems. So I dropped in the word Zelensky, remember him? Into 3 different models, Llama 3, Qwen 2.5, DeepSeek R1. Llama 3 and Qwen 2.5 seem to be thinking about the current president of Ukraine. What's going on with DeepSeek? Where was DeepSeek trained? All right, that's interesting. But remember what I said. Build statistical power by repeat prompting. Is this just a false alarm? Well, no, it's not. In fact, something is going on there. Don't need to think very far. You should try this. This is a call to action. And in fact, even if you don't want to write some code, I wrote code to do that because I like writing code, but you don't have to. There are interfaces for AI systems that use convenient web frameworks that let you do all of these things that I've told you. Looking across multiple models, controlling the prompt by clearing context, changing the system prompt, etc. So if you're using an AI system and you're getting some value from it, my suggestion is pause. We've been said, be cautious. Here's how. Try it out. Results may surprise you. And with that, I'm happy to take questions. All right, very good. Yeah.
How much of the system prompts for the big models like Claude or Gemini are revealed?
Good question.
Yeah.
Very good question. Actually, in the production systems, they're proprietary. They're not revealed at all. Now, there are open weight variants of these that you can get. And interestingly enough, something worth noting across these 3 models, the system prompt for Llama 3, very short. The system prompt for Qwen and DeepSeek, it actually does non-trivial computation. It's actually code. And it's not obvious what the code does. Cool stuff.